Being prepared for any eventuality is not just a prudent choice, but often a necessity. Whether it's natural disasters, economic downturns, or SHTF, having the right supplies can make all the difference. As a prepper, one of the fundamental principles is to never discard items that could prove invaluable in times of crisis. So here is a list of items that preppers should never throw away. Empty glass jars of any size. If you're just storing them, go ahead and fill them with water so they aren't just taking up space. But empty glass jars of any size are great to have for tons of different uses. From storing food to even holding the old oil from the lawnmower, they come in handy all the time. And you can screw the lid to the bottom of a shelf and then store parts, screws, bolts, and other shop items in them. Just unscrew them from the cap to get what you need. Cardboard. Any larger cardboard boxes, once emptied, are great for a number of reasons. First of all, always break the boxes down so they can store flat. Now you have everything from fire tinder to weed liners for your garden. Empty spice jars. Refill these with your own freshly dehydrated spices. This makes it much easier to measure and add the spices to your food. Plastic food tubs. From margarine to sour cream and everything else you can think of, wash these out and use them for storage as well. Coffee cans. This is a pretty obvious item. Coffee cans can be turned into candles. You can pour bags of dry goods into them for easier access and less worry about pests, and they're useful for tons of other things. The boxes your mason jars come in. I read about this in an article, and it's brilliant. These boxes are pretty sturdy. Cut a slit down the center of the plastic to remove the jars to use. And when you've filled them all up, you can slide them back into the box, and they stack really well. Just be sure to label what you've put into the jars on the outside of the box. Dryer lint. Always keep a grocery store bag next to your dryer, or use a magnetized clip to attach it to your dryer. Every time you clean out the lint filter, save the lint in the bag. You now have a ton of fire-starting material. Empty metal food tins. Keep a few different sizes of washed and dried empty food cans. Again, for storage, for a makeshift stove, and for creating candles, as well as other uses, these will always come in handy. Old candles. Melt the wax and pour all the liquid together in a can to create a bigger candle once it hardens again. You can also pour the melted wax onto some dryer lint, pine cones, or any other flammable material to make quick candles that can also be used as fire starters, but they will also burn for longer. Egg cartons. Once again, the possibilities are almost limitless in ways to find uses for old egg cartons. Use them as seed starters. They're great for this. Pour your bacon grease into the little cups and put it in the freezer. Once the grease has hardened, you can throw these little portions into a regular plastic bag and store them in the freezer until you need to use them for cooking and to add flavor to a dish. And egg cartons are great for storing small items as well. Newspapers. If you still read the newspaper, saving them is a very good idea. They make great tinder and can also be rolled up into newspaper logs to burn longer. And in an emergency, they're a great replacement for toilet paper. Old pill bottles. These are also great for storing small items, and they're usually airtight as well, which makes them waterproof. Plastic bags. Save all of those plastic bags you get from stores. Usually it's the grocery store. These come in handy for many things besides as a small trash bag. I personally wrap my hand in the plastic to remove the paint rollers from the handle, or to pick up anything that I don't want my hand to come in contact with. They're also good for using with a bushcraft toilet. Just be sure your plastic bag has no holes in it. You can also use them to keep your feet dry, or as insulation, or even tie them together to create a rope. Twist ties. Typically found on loaves of bread, these make great plant ties in the garden. Old clothes. Box these up in cardboard boxes that you have saved above. You can even hide valuables at the bottom of these boxes. Be sure to mark the boxes old clothes so no one knows what it is. You can also use the cloth to patch and repair, or if you're skilled, to make entirely new items out of it. Torn or damaged clothes. Clothes that are ripped, have holes, or some other damage can be used as rags. In an SHTF situation, when paper towels are no longer available, these damaged clothes will come in very handy. Bar soap slivers. Put these into one of the jars or tin cans that you've saved. All of those bits and pieces of old soap can be melted down together to form new bars of soap. Plastic 2-liter and other bottles. 2-liter bottles, milk jugs, or any other kind of plastic bottle are great for storing water in. You can also use them to transport water if you need to for bathing or flushing toilets. Start looking at items differently before you throw them away. Ask yourself if there's another use you can repurpose that item for. You will never know what you come up with.